It looks like yesterday was like peak panic, and despite the peak panic, it looks like we bounced on the trend line, and that red candle actually became a green candle.
Crazy, brother. It was crazy that yesterday we were speaking about we just need that sun. We just need that. You know, we've had this the last I think 3 or 4 times in the last 2 years, and we just needed that true volume candle. We needed that long tail and that long strong candle. And it's crazy that yesterday there was a lot of red in the market, and wow, did it turn around quite quickly. And look at that volume spike, brother.
So I was about to say, you've basically got a couple of things here that are really encouraging. So the first thing that I'm seeing here that is really encouraging is the volume candle. And that volume candle, it came in the afternoon. It came in on the app. So it's like an app volume candle. Then the other thing that you got that's super encouraging is you've got that wick. You've got that panic wick. Remember we spoke about that long panic wick. So you've got that long panic wick over here. We saw the same wick in March 2020. We saw a similar wick on high volume. So that's another thing. And the third thing that's super encouraging is that even with everything that went on yesterday, we didn't get through the trend line. We're still way above the trend line. So all of those are super bullish for Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. We closed above. So there's always going to be exaggeration drops at points, and that's pure panic. And I think that's why the emotions was a big thing to go through this week. But we closed above, brother, and we finally got some. We were waiting. Like, I don't know about you, but from 40 down, little bit. When are they going to buy? When are we finally going to get buyers? And that was a great indication.
Click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click. Enter the sniper. Enter the sniper.
My sound's good, otherwise I could put the other headset on.
No, your sound's very soft. While Sheldon's putting on his headphones, Banter fam, welcome back. Good to see you after yesterday's panic. It does feel like yesterday was like the peak panic day. Not to say that it was the bottom, but it definitely was one of the big panic days. And traditionally, those panic days are an awesome opportunity for buyers. And if you did have the guts to buy yesterday while everything was doing what it was doing, well, then you're probably up about 10%, because at some point Bitcoin was trading at around $34,000. I think the big question now is whether the worst is over and whether it is safe to start buying. There's two schools of thought. One school of thought says, look, the worst is over. And the other school of thought says that this is the beginning of a dead cat bounce, or just a very short relief rally. So as soon as Sheldon's got his earphones on, that is what we will be talking about. People asking me, is this a new shirt? Yes, this is a new shirt. One of the community members actually made them for us. Sheldon, I've got one for you here too. There's one here for you. There's one for you here too. So,
oh, nice. Cool. I like that we also matchy. The white and red looks great.
Or matchy. Alrighty, look. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe to our channel. Also like this content. That's gonna get us more people viewing this content. Let's get straight into the charts. The community said that they wanted shorter intros and more meat on the bone. So here's the meat on the bone.
Yeah, I think it was great yesterday as well. Got straight into it. Volume, brother. Wow, look at this. Something we haven't seen in a little while, eh? Continuation of volume like that. That was a really great indication for us. And obviously in time of panic, or the world, like everything sort of falls out the window at this point, and all we can do is basically track emotion. That's literally what we can do when it gets to those points, because it gets very exaggerated, especially in price, and that people just panic out and these things happen. And we were just waiting for the main, we needed that main candle, very similar to what we had the previous time over here, where we had a tail and we had this long volume wick over here, volume spike, and that always turned into something really great after, where we were just waiting that, the market was coming and testing levels. We need an interest zone. We're big guys because we definitely know it wasn't retail that bought in yesterday. That wasn't retail. Let me just jump back on here. That was definitely not retail that bought up yesterday. This was bigger guys, bigger money flow. They bought the fear, extreme panic. It was actually retail that really panicked out. Are you back, brother?
I'm back. I'm saying that was one, and here's another one here. So if you look at March 2020, exactly the same pattern. Panic, long wick, bang, volume, and there we go.
Exactly that, right? So that's sort of what we're looking at. And it doesn't happen too often, but it does happen after these really strong sort of, let's see if I got it marked up here still. There we go. Let me just mark it up. There we go. So you can see the different times that I've marked this up on when this has happened. And you can see how it happened, obviously, after the big the May drop, where we had this really strong down. We had massive volume that came in over here. And that was obviously, we're looking for that pin bar candle. So you always want to look for that really strong pin bar candle after a big event that has happened. Same thing that happened over here. And you can see how they all basically turned into strong, temporary reversals after that. So that was mainly what we're looking at, that we knew something changed here. And we're still sticking to that thing, that we were in this long cycle. Something changed in trend. And, would it be an accumulating trend that we're seeing right now? But we knew something changed. And then we needed, the second indication was we needed volume to back it. We needed some serious buying power to start happening. If I go back here, you were talking about the March drop, exactly that. Look at these volume spikes with these long wick. Let me just zoom in here so you guys can see it more. With these long wick candles, that's exactly what you want to see. So after a long, big event, this is always going to be exaggeration. And this is where the big guys thrive. They love panic buys. They love it when people suck out. And what happens before that, guys, is you basically get this tapering down of volume. And you can see over here, taper down of volume, exaggeration of price, which means there's no more volume. There's no more interest right now. Because I think people were in that part yesterday where everyone's like, what is going on? Like, I think the best thing to do right now is nothing. And the fact that they said that, and then, we sort of saw that the reaction on the charts as well, just tapered volume completely down. And within what that does is it gives them a lot of access now to shift the markets without lots of volume. And they can start, and with some volume now, they can actually reclaim and actually turn the chart quite quickly to the upward side. Same as all the previous times over here. These long wick candles is what's super important to be seeing with these sort of stages. So that was a good sign. But now it was quite interesting. We had the call this morning. We were chatting and you were saying, there's two sort of views you can see here. Now,
I think before we get into views, I think it's very important that we look at this. So if you look at, this is yesterday. This is the NASDAQ. So the market opens, I'd say the market opened around, if you look at the futures went down. Russia invades, all hell's breaking loose. Then at some point the market turns. So market opens and at some point the NASDAQ turns. NASDAQ goes up. If you look now, NASDAQ is again up 46 points. So the futures for NASDAQ are up another 0.5% today. So that's the first thing. You compare that to Bitcoin. Mirror image. There we go. You had the volume on the way down. There's all the volume on the way down. Bang, candle turns, and then volume buying it back up. So serious interest and serious volume there.
Exactly, bro. And if I jump here quickly to the futures chart as well, is to sort of show you that, these happen at times with the stock market, but you see that long wick candle, bought up, volume came on. What happened after that? Temporary reversal. Same thing over here. Drop down, long wick candle, the volume come in, reversal. And you can see how it basically repeated as we started going. Whenever you get these big, see how they taper down volume. It's beautiful the way they do it. They taper it down, boom, they can shift the market quite quickly. And you can see here, look at that volume yesterday on the stock market. That's volume, like that's true volume. The last time we saw these volumes was in 2019. We saw volume like that on the stock market. That's big volume. Who bought there? You know what I mean? That's really, really massive volume. That volume bar is huge.
Yeah, I think someone here in the comments is saying something like, hopium, there's still a war going on. But remember, markets are forward-looking. So markets aren't looking at the fact that there is a war. The war is, I mean, it's already priced in. When Putin attacked, that is when the market realized that there is a war and it got certainty. From that point, that's it. There's a war. And now what the market's looking for is the market's looking for the next bit of news. Then the next bit of news that we had was the sanctions. So what they saw was that the US and the allies are acting decisively. Now you've got the war priced in, the sanctions priced in, you've got a massive inflation number priced in, and now the market is actually starting to look forward. The market is starting to look forward. So there is going to be a war. The war could continue for another couple of months, but the market's already priced in that war. The uncertainty is gone. The certainty is there. There is a war. That's certainty. The certainty is that the US is putting in sanctions. There are only very few things now that could crash the market, and we'll talk about those in a couple of minutes. But the markets, I mean, yes, there is a war, but the war is not what caused the price to come down. What caused the price to come down was the uncertainty of the war and the uncertainty as to how the allies would react. And now we've got that. Now we've got it.
And then things calm down and they sort of go back to the normal sort of reality. Guys, remember, we have to have these big events to get the real panic going on in the world for the markets. It's just the simplicity of emotion and understanding. They have to create massive amounts of panic for that to sort of happen. And, we were looking at the views. I don't know if you want to go through them now, Rand, there's still a possibility now, and this is a massive lesson that everyone needs to learn, is look how these panic buys can be some of the best opportunity times for you. And even though sometimes you got to zoom out with price, we started charting down this chart of emotion, right? And we all knew we were in that anger, panic sort of phase and where we were sitting. But look how price gets to this massive panic zone. And look how we always get, when we get to a specific level, how quickly things can reverse. Now, this is a lesson for people to understand that these panic times are going to come. I think they've happened 4 or 5 times in the last 2 years alone. And those 4 or 5 times were the best opportunities you could ever get into the market and ladder in at that zone, because mentally you're buying at the right zone without even looking at price. Now, we had the two views. What happens if China now, what are the views there? And we either got a super bullish version where things can just explode from here, it's priced in, everyone gets over it, and we can sort of move, or there can be this thing extends a bit more and we have a little bit of war. But what? There's a comment here.
There's a comment here. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's a comment up on the screen. It's from Luke Sniper. You could see he's been to sniper school because he's got Luke the Sniper. He says, Wayne Gretzky, I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. That is exactly the saying. You skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck has been. I love that. That's exactly it. There's a bull case scenario and a bear case scenario. The bull case scenario is that that the news is out in the market and that pretty much everything has now been priced in. That's the bull case scenario. The bear case scenario is what happens if China invades Taiwan now, because this is a great time for China to invade Taiwan. That's one of them. What happens if Evergrande, which has effectively defaulted, and no one's talking about it because there's so much other news. What happens if Evergrande now sets off a major collapse of the financial system in China? What happens if that happens? Those are the bull and bear cases. And what we'll do in the next show is before we do call-ins, I'm actually going to talk to you guys about, there is one case that actually says that if it happens, then we're going into a massive Bitcoin bull cycle. Now, I'm not here to spread hopium and, we're going into a bull cycle, but I want to just present one case to you that shows what could happen if a few things play out as they're meant to play out. But I think let's leave that for the later show because it's quite it's like a half an hour discussion, right?
Yeah. Well, I think everyone must obviously log on there so they can get the fundamentals behind it. But I'm going to sort of explain it on the charts as well. Is what is the big lesson we've learned this week? Is the panic buys and the panic sells. When we get that really strong acceleration, equals one of the best opportunities you can be looking at. So now let's say something massive happens and extends from this and we go back into the panic zone. You now know how important it is that we are sitting in a middle zone now where we're sitting at 38,600, right? We can either rally back up to the big bear wall, which is around 44,000 again, or we can rally back down to the 30K. How would that happen? Something big happens again, creates a lot of panic again. But we're at that stage now where you're thinking, okay, what should I do? Should I be buying? Should I be that? for me right now, we're sitting in the middle. I'm waiting for I'm making sure that there's no more panic, if I could say. If there is any more panic, I'm waiting for that for the remainder of my buys, of course. Or I'm waiting for the confirmation that now we start to rally, get a quick reset of the RSIs, and I start then to look at. We've been buying lots for the last 2-3 weeks. We've been loading up. We got this big confirmation.
What would cause more panic now? I'm just like, Russia is in the market. Russia's taken over Ukraine. Russia pretty much has control of Chernobyl, which is the nuclear power plant. Like, what would now bring more panic? You know, barring a black swan, like another COVID. Barring
other countries get involved in this war right now.
Okay, Putin goes and invades non-NATO countries. But if that happens, then we're in a world war. That's a world war. That you're basically saying, okay, that's the beginning of World War III officially. Right now,
it's going to create a lot of panic, which is going to create a lot of opportunity. So it's just looking at both views. If this continues and all of a sudden we do get another exaggeration down, just remember the power of loading up on extreme panic zone. I have a very big panic zone that's sitting between 30,000 and 34,000. That any scoops up there. So what I've done is, I've obviously deployed a little bit yesterday, and I have a little bit where I've just set some limit orders here. Until I have a little bit more credit, I'm in. I'm already 89, 85, 90% in the market. I got some orders sitting a little bit low in case there is, to catch that capitulation candle, to catch that big weak candle. I know the stuff is getting a little bit easier now. Again, yesterday's volume was great and stuff, but I'm still always prepping and just having a few set up there. Otherwise, I'm also waiting for, if this is a reversal, we got to smash through the big bear wall that's sitting at 44,000, the one that we struggled to get through 1 or 2 weeks ago. Now, if we look at that, is right now it's a Bitcoin war. It's a Bitcoin market right now that's fighting that, and the alts are still laying back. They got great bounces yesterday, but they're not releasing yet and exploding just yet, which means I still have a little bit of time when it comes to alt entries.
That's the Russian stock exchange. Russian stock exchange recovered from yesterday. It recovered about 30%. It's about 30% up. At one point, the Russian stock exchange, get this, the Russian stock exchange, which was, at one point, the Russian stock exchange had recovered 50% in one day. That's after the invasions and the sanctions. 50% in one day for the Russian stock exchange. Can you believe that? That is insane.
Man.
That is insane.
No, it's crazy. It's at that sort of level. So what did you said you deployed? You went crazy.
Yeah. I did.
I've been doing that for the last 3 months.
I didn't want to say it on the show yesterday because I just felt that on a day of a war and panic, to be telling the community, okay, buy the dip. I just thought that was in bad taste. But I told you early in the morning, and I think we said it on the call that we all had in the morning, that today is the day we're going to be deploying. We did deploy. What did I deploy into? So I bought Bitcoin. I never take leverage positions, but I took a slightly leveraged position because I was a little bit out of cash. I took a leveraged position on the NASDAQ. And I just felt that the NASDAQ had been hit too hard. So I took a leveraged position on the NASDAQ. I scooped up some Luna, just under $60. I think I'm a little bit up on that position. I scooped up some Arweave at $24. I'm just looking here. I'm just looking to see what else. I bought some Tornado Cash at $29. I see that's gone up a lot. It's now trading at $36.40. Let's see what else did I buy yesterday? Hold on a second.
You stocked up on. So guys, quick shorter view on Bitcoin. What I'm looking at now is we did get that strong candle. If there is any sort of panic, I do just have a little bit of cash for that. But for now, we got the reversal candle that we wanted. And I'm sort of looking at, we have quite a bit of resistance sitting at this zone here. So a push up to this zone makes sort of sense. We got the volume backing it. We do want the continuation of volume 2. But what I think might happen too is, do you remember when we had this big wick over here a few weeks ago when we finally broke out of that trend? Do you see how we got this big wick candle here, big volume spike, and then it was small, little gradual growth until we got to a specific level, and then we shot completely through. And that's something I'm looking at here, is possible slow growth to this region of this resistance here, and then we can obviously be looking at the next push that can take us strong through the next sort of level. So we're at an interesting stage right now. We have the dominance, which did shoot back up a bit more. This did go up. It's back testing our trend line again. So it's sort of showing that if people get comfortable with Bitcoin sitting at 38 again, we can look at some point this being diversified back into the altcoins. Looking at the USDT, that was great for me. That we had this, this massive long wick to the downward side on USDT. This was really good for me because it's giving me that indication we can come back to test supports again. So people getting out of USDT back into the market as well. So, yeah, looking good, brother.
Let's look at dominance, because dominance showed that actually people weren't as panicked as we thought. Like usually, I would have thought dominance would have shot up a lot yesterday. It didn't shoot up a lot.
Yeah, it shot up, but not crazy amounts. So that's obviously, that's why you're going to have the alt catch-ups at different points. I think there's still a lot of confidence. Like, we got to speak about the Luna. Like, I can't believe how Luna, completely ripped yesterday. Look at that volume, man. Like, that's what you want to see, bro. Like, that's a really strong break. We broke out of this sort of resistance point that we had over here, and we shot straight through. It looks like it will do a small support test at around about $60 again. And that will be a nice little laddering end zone again for me. But this is tremendous amounts of volume on Luna. So that's showing a really good amount of strength. It also did break this long-term trend that we had to the downward side.
So that was Luna was, okay, so it is the chart of the day today. But if you looked at our website 2 days ago, before this whole thing happened, if you looked at the website, we said Luna's about to go. There was an article about Luna. Can't find it here, but there was an article about Luna, and we said here we go. This is the article. We said it's going to be a catalyst for the next run on Luna. Here it is. It's all on the website. If you're on the website, you got it. If you're not on the website, you're completely missing out on that alpha. Completely. Let's look. So Luna's good. Let me just get to a watch list here, and then let's see if there's any other tokens that we want to go on.
There was a massive volume spike on Solana. So someone took a very big also position in that point, and it's starting to break short-term trend to the downward side as well. So Solana's obviously strength, but look at all these alts, guys. Like, they sort of hold trend, but they also got this really good volume indication of coming in. So for me, I'm not loading up too much on Bitcoin right now, unless it goes back to those levels, but I'm definitely capitalizing on some alts that are holding on support trends that have just had this big daily reversal. And obviously looking at the RSIs on a lot of them, they are switching point to the upward side.
I mean, I want to just go to a comment that I saw. It says, talk about your scam projects: Donkey, Saber, Vader, Sunny, ADA, DeFi, THG, down 5 to 10x in the market. So, Jake, I want to say the following to you. First of all, we are invested in every single one of those projects, and we haven't sold any of our tokens because we believe in those projects long term. That's the first thing. The second thing is, none of these projects are scam. Every single one of these projects are amazing projects, and the entire market today has been hit, and a lot of altcoins are down 90%, including, unfortunately, Donkey, Sunny, Vader, Saber. The third thing that I want to say is that we made it very clear that these are part of your very risky portfolio, and that other than Cardano, all of these should have made up the maximum of 10 to 15% of your portfolio. And the reality is that if you can't heed the warnings, and if you can't be responsible, and if you can't ride, and if you're going to take projects on the worst day of the year, in other words, on the day of the war, and then complain that the projects are down, then my feeling is that you probably shouldn't be playing in altcoins. You should probably put your portfolio into Chase Bank or into Bitcoin. But you certainly shouldn't be playing this game, because if you are going to play this game, then you got to be able to ride out the cycles, and you got to be able to manage your own risk. That's what this channel is about. Yeah, I hope we've addressed that. I really hope that we've addressed that.
I think it's important, man. One thing I did looking at those things is I also have a few alts that are 90% down. But what I love about it, like, is if I bought $1,000 of them then, and they're 90% down, if I buy $100 now, it buys me the same amount of tokens I bought then. So literally, if I spend 10% of the money that I bought then, I'm buying the same amount of coins at that level. You know
but
what
also,
I mean?
hold on a second. Of all those tokens that he mentioned, if any of those tokens other than Cardano made up more than 10% of your portfolio combined, then you weren't listening to how we told you to break up your portfolio, because we said 85% of your portfolio is going to be in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Cardano, Chainlink. Those are 15% of your portfolio, and you know that they're going to go up and down. And then to go and take those tokens on the worst day of the year and say, hey, they're all down. Dude, you're missing the point here. every single small altcoin out there that I know is down 90%. However, we think that those are good projects. I haven't sold a single donkey token, and I don't intend to sell a single donkey token. I haven't sold any of my Sabre or Sunny, and to be honest, I'm actually going to buy more. I'm buying more Sabre and more Sunny because I think that the bees will eventually come back there. But I mean, you got to be, if you're going to play altcoins, you've got to be a grown up. You've got to be a grown up. You can't play the altcoins and then play them irresponsibly and then come and look and then call people scammers and call project scammers. Every single one of those is an unbelievable project, in my opinion. Every single one of those. Veda is risky. We said it at the time. Donkey is amazing. Institutional DeFi, it will happen. Oh yes, believe me, it's going to happen. Yeah. And to be honest, if you can't play that game, don't watch the show. Don't do what we say. But if you're gonna be here, then put on your big boy pants. Put on your big boy pants. It upsets me.
Learn from your mistakes, and we continue again. Like, stop it. It's irresponsible trading. Like, take control.
Yeah.
You run your portfolio. You push the buy button. Like, let's do this. You know what I mean? Learn the game and let's play together.
I just want to say, if people are buying this portfolio, the Degen-ish portfolio, that's the one that we spoke about last week, I think that this is probably a good time to start dollar cost averaging. Remember, we said you should start dollar cost averaging. I think now is a good time to start dollar cost averaging into these projects, because I don't know if they may go down more. They may go down more, but this is a solid portfolio that's going to survive a bull market and a bear market. And if you want to go more Degen than that, well, then you've got this totally Degen portfolio over here, and you can go slightly more Degen. And to me, I think that that's quite a good place to be at the moment, to be honest.
I agree. But a structure. Yeah. So I think let's take it as it goes. Let's see what happens over the weekend. Do you think something big is going to happen? Maybe a quiet weekend, but good candle, brother. Let's get above 40 again. Let's get things rolling again, and we can hit it strong.
There was an options closeout this week, Sheldino. There was a big options closeout. There was and the point of max pain is 40,000. Yeah, 40,000. And I think that was one of the reasons for the candle. I think that there's a big options closeout this week.
Amazing. Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Alrighty. Listen, we have time for one or two charts if you guys want. If you guys want to chart, either super chat us or go into the chat. Obviously, we'll respond to super chats first. Apparently, that's the etiquette around here.
The question here is, why is Render not in any of those portfolios?
Because I'll tell you why. Because when we bought it at like 80 cents and 70 cents. Now, for us to add Render to our portfolio at $2 and $3, when we first bought our purchase at 70 or 80 cents, I just think that you missed all the good upside. It's a good token long term, but they're probably better ones. What about Moonriver? I love Moonriver. I think I love Moonriver and I love Moonbeam at this price. I love them both. I love my kids equally.
Stocking up, dude. So Moonriver is obviously a good one. I'll have a look here. $61, man. It's
cheap.
It's so cheap. It's really
cheap, and it can get cheaper.
I saw one that they were speaking about there as well. Is obviously Fantom. Cheap enough for you yet? It went down to 1.3.
Very cheap.
You know, for anyone that wants to be getting into Fantom, like, you know what I mean? And that's a strong reversal candle, which is looking good. So it's still on support.
The thing with Fantom is that Fantom, there was a lot of demand to stake Fantom to get the solidly airdrop, the under a Croneer airdrop. But right now, there's no demand. That's the difference. See, because there's no, and that's why the price came down. Anyway, I see that I've got 1 more minute. Paribus can be in my Degen portfolio. Someone said PBX. Paribus is definitely. Veracity protocol is in the risky portfolio. Kilt is also in the risky portfolio.
Superfarm,
Algorand, all of them. Victoria VR was cheap yesterday. Yeah. Energy Web token, I have some in my portfolio. I've just checked. I have some in my portfolio. All right, what we'll do is later on today, we'll do a Q&A. Sheldino, you're welcome to join if you like. We'll do a Q&A with the community, understand how you guys are feeling, look at your portfolios, see if there's anything worth buying. I've also got a guest coming on today, and then I'm going to show you a super, super, super bullish case for Bitcoin. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying it can happen. So we'll see you guys again later. Until then, trade well, my friends. Thanks.